once again. We're back for Friday Night Tech Talk. Good evening, folks. Mobile Geezer here, and I'm glad to have everybody aboard. I hope everybody has had a very blessed and good week, as I have. And I'm going to go over some stories tonight, but first let me recognize who got in here. First one in was Renz. I guess he must be getting ready to go to work, but glad he got in here first. And right behind him, Eleanor came in. Hi, Eleanor. Oh, she's got a new picture. Okay. And then Annette got in here from California. So glad to have all three of you here. Anybody else that's here, please leave a comment so I'll know you're here. If you're new, let me know where you're watching from. And glad to have you. If you're new, I do this every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the U.S. And we go over some of the tech stories from the week. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. And click the bell so that you won't miss any videos that I upload. So you can get the show notes. I always have them on my website. Let me share that screen. So the show notes are at, let me change this. Show notes are at mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. Click on the first story, and that'll give you this week's show notes. And what we're going to go over tonight, seems like a lot of people are saying how great the Pixel 6a is, and a lot of other people are having issues with it, like it was with the Pixel 6 Pro. There seems to be some issues with the fingerprint sensor, but a little different, so we'll be getting to that. Next story is going to be about the Apple event that'll be coming up next month. And then to follow that up, I said, okay, let's talk about the iPhone 14 Pro. And I'm kind of excited for that because I still have my iPhone 12 Pro. I skipped the 13 entirely. So I think this year I'm going to go for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, or if that's what they call it. So then, to stay with Apple, Apple is having some problems with harassment issues. And I said in my headline, this time it's Apple promising to do better with harassment issues. And this is what I feel. Seems as if Silicon Valley has a bigger problem with this stuff, the harassment stuff, than most other employment sectors. So we'll get to that. And I was surprised, or I had forgot, that Samsung, their event is coming up next Wednesday. And I didn't even realize they were bringing in new buds. So we're going to have a story about that. And of course, you know, I just got the Pixel buds, which I absolutely love. I've been using those every day. Those are right here. So I'm probably going to pick up Samsung's new buds, which is called some people are calling it the Pro Buds 2, and other people are calling it the Pro 2 Buds. So either way. And then finish up, we're going to talk about when Android 13 is coming out. So we've got some new comments here. Okay. Renz is off to work. Okay, I hope you have an easy drive. Hope your traffic's not as bad as it was last weekend. We will see you when you get there, Renz. Thanks. Yeah, I'm hearing my phone talking back to me. Okay, so we'll go back to the top. I will put in my usual branding stuff so that you guys, Super Chat is wide open if you want to donate to the channel. Anything you donate, of course, goes to the channel and towards other new products. And we're getting into that season. We got Samsung coming up next Wednesday. We've got Apple coming up next month. And more than likely, we have Pixel stuff coming up, Pixel 7 and Pixel Watch, which I'm excited for, coming out in October. So we're in that season once again. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Pixel 6a story. So I just said another big tech voice, in this case, that's Pocket Now, gives their take on the Pixel 6a issues. So I'm going to go to Pocket Now site and take a look. Now, keep in mind, this is not me saying this because I don't have the Pixel 6a. I have the Pixel 6 Pro, so I'm not picking it up. So this is their opinion, but I respect Pocket Now's opinion of things. Google keeps messing up its phones. Pixel 6a is the latest on the list. So let's go into reader view and get rid of some of these ads. This is by, I don't know if I can say this one, Roland Udvarlaki. Okay. The Google Pixel 6a went up for pre-orders last week, and the phone has already landed in the reviewers' hands and pockets. While the Pixel 6a still hasn't officially launched, this was a few days ago, so I think it has now. It's already been criticized by reviewers for arriving with major problems. One of those issues is with the fingerprint sensor, which appears to have similar problems to the Pixel 6 series, letting everyone freely unlock the device. Now, of course, with the Pixel 6 Pro, Eleanor has the Pixel 6, and we both, like a lot of other people, had issues with the fingerprint sensor registering properly. And after about, I guess, 4 months of updates, Google finally got that fixed. So this sounds a little bit different. If you've been a Google Pixel fan, you might not be surprised that the latest Pixel smartphone comes with new problems. After all, Pixel smartphones are notorious for having a lot of issues. That's true. And Google isn't exactly known for having reasonable quality control. The latest problem that's affecting the Google Pixel 6a is related to the fingerprint sensor. YouTube creator Bebome showed that its team members could unlock the device using different fingertips. This is not good. Geek Ranjit could also unlock the Pixel 6a using both thumbprints, even though only one was registered. This is a bad problem. Those issues are worrying, making the device an easy target for thieves until at least it's officially addressed by Google. So I'd rather have the problem that Eleanor and I had with the fingerprint not registering properly than having just anybody stick their finger there and open it up. While we await for Google to acknowledge and address the problem officially, we strongly encourage everyone to use a password or a long PIN to unlock the Pixel 6a. Good idea. The issue sounds like a software problem and not a hardware-related one, and we expect Google to roll out an update in the coming week. Yeah, sounds like this wouldn't be all that hard to fix. So Google keeps messing up its phones. Every smartphone that Google released in the past had software or hardware-related problems. That's also true. These all started long before Google decided to shift into the premium smartphone market with the Pixel lineup. That's also true. The issues first appeared on the Google Nexus 5X, which I did not have, and the Nexus 6P devices, which I did have for like a year and a half, known for getting stuck in boot loose. I never had that issue, but it seems like back then a lot of people had that issue. So this is pre-Pixel even. The first and second series of Google Pixel phones had problems with Wi-Fi connectivity, the USB-C port not functioning correctly, and other software-related issues, some of which were fixed and some of which stayed. The Google Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL faced lawsuits for having battery drain issues, I remember that, and the phone unexpectedly shutting down. There are also reports of the phone's camera app shaking and vibrating, I remember that too, resulting in poor quality images and recording footage. The Pixel 3a series surprisingly had only a few minor software issues, and that was the first Pixel that I bought, and I loved the Pixel 3a, and I didn't have any issues with it. And it was the first device in the series not to face any widespread and major issues. So I guess I bought mine at the right time. The Google Pixel 4 series, and I think Ren still has that one, had a battery expanding issue, and the face recognition hardware failed to work after some time in some units. And maybe that's why Google is still not letting us do face unlock. The former appears to have been a hardware issue, and users were forced to return their devices. Unfortunately, many ended up being declined for one reason or another. That's bad customer support. Personally speaking, I've never had a problem with the face unlock technology, but only a handful of banking apps supported it, making it inconvenient to use on a daily basis. Yeah, I think that's probably better with the banking apps now, because the Pixel has become much more popular since the Pixel 6 devices came out. The Google Pixel 5 was a surprisingly great device, and it didn't have any major issues, unlike its predecessors. There were some reports of display gaps and battery drain problems, but it was overall one of the best in terms of quality devices that Google has ever released. All of this, however, went downhill when the Pixel 6 series were announced, which faced several different issues with the display panel, connectivity problems. Yeah, I didn't have any of those, and neither did Eleanor. And most notably, issues with the fingerprint scanner, and I think a lot of us had that issue. We can only hope that the only issue the Pixel 6a will be facing is the fingerprint recognition software, which can be fixed quickly. Yeah, I would think Google should jump all over that. If Google wants to take on the iPhone, it must cut down on these software and hardware-related problems that have been scrutinizing its smartphone. I think they mean have been plaguing its smartphone business for several years. As a Google Pixel fan and user, I've owned the original Pixel XL, 2XL, and the Pixel 4 XL. It's disappointing that a company of the size of Google is having such difficulties with both software and hardware. Boy, if Will was here, we'd be hearing it now. This makes recommending the latest Google Pixel 6 series challenging. Well, now with the Pixel 6, I don't have any problem recommending it, since the fingerprint sensor is still very slow, and there are other widespread reports of Wi-Fi and cellular connectivity problems. I haven't had any of those. What problem did you have with your current or previous Pixel smartphones? How many devices did you return to get one that worked perfectly? And they want you to let them know in the comments. So that's Pocket Now's take on it. So I get, having a fingerprint just recognize anybody's fingerprint when it hasn't even been registered, that's a really bad idea. So I would think they could fix that fairly easily. So other than, and of course, you're hearing a lot of people defending the Pixel 6a, saying they're not having any problems and blah, blah, blah. So it's ever since it came out, it's been a lot of back and forth. It seems to be about 50-50 people saying it's problems and 50% saying, no, it's great. So I just thought I should start with that one. So let me stop screen. Get out of this one. And nothing new in the comments as yet, so we'll continue on down. So I'll let you know, by the way, Mike already told me earlier today, sent me a message, he would not be able to make it tonight. I'm thinking he must have got off work very late, because he put up a couple of sunset pictures about half an hour ago from Delaware. So that told me he must have worked very late today. And Will and Ted, I'm not sure about, but of course, if they come in, I will certainly let you know. So we're going to talk about the Apple event next month. And this was on 9 to 5 Mac. So Apple September event, iPhone 14, Apple Watch Series 8, and more, by Jose Adorno. Let's go into read a view. In less than 2 months, Apple will likely hold its traditional September event. If the company follows the trend, this will be the most important keynote of the year. Although there are several products Apple could be readying, there are two that people are expecting the most: the iPhone 14 series and the Apple Watch Series 8. Here's what Apple could announce at its September event. The iPhone 14 series will be the star of the Apple September event. With 4 new models set to be introduced, expect a lot of hype from a new iPhone 14 Plus Max, although the regular models won't have much to differentiate from the current iPhone 13 generation. A bigger model will be a nice addition. That's another reason I'm glad I'm picking up the Pro, because I want that 16, not the 15. At the Apple September event, expect great changes for the iPhone 14 Pro, as previously reported by 95Mac. With a new design, a better processor, and huge improvements on the camera side, I'm excited about that too. The iPhone 14 series will likely be one of the biggest Apple launches in years. And then the new Apple Watches are coming. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who's always pretty accurate about Apple stuff, has been reporting that Apple will introduce 3 new Apple Watch models in 2022, which he called the most important update for the watch in years. These watches could be unveiled at the Apple September event. The Apple Watch Series 8 will get at least a new body temperature sensor and a better battery life. The Apple Watch SE will likely be updated, while Apple is also readying a rugged Pro version of the current watch with a different design and a premium finish. Right now, I think most of you know I alternate my Apple Watch SE with my Galaxy Watch 4 Classic every other day. So today I'm wearing my SE. I'm thinking I probably won't be picking up one of the new watches, because if the main thing is going to be a new body temperature and stuff, you guys know me, I'm an exercise fanatic, so I don't think it'll do much for me, but we'll see. The Airpods Pro 2 at the Apple September event, that could tempt me. Apart from the iPhone 14 series and new Apple Watch models, Apple could introduce at its September event the new Airpods Pro 2. Now, I haven't bought any AirPods since the very first ones, so I never bought the Pro version, so that might interest me. With a similar design to the current generation, 9to5Mac sources confirmed that the next AirPods Pro model, codenamed B698, will feature the next version of the H1 chip, Apple's own audio processor. In addition, references for LC3 codec support on the AirPods Max beta firmware teased that the AirPods Pro 2 could be the first to add Bluetooth 5.2 support. That would be awesome. This codec will bring more stability and efficiency to the wireless earbuds. Not only that, but this new standard will help AirPods Pro 2 improve the sound quality for voice calls and songs with higher bit rate support. Although low energy Bluetooth and LC3 codec don't promise lossless Bluetooth, they will surely improve sound quality by a lot. So if I do get them, of course, it'll be interesting to see how they do against the Buds 2 from Samsung, and of course against the Pixel Buds Pro. So that's something I may really look into getting. Apple mixed reality headset. Rumors about the Apple mixed reality headset have been ramping up for this past year. During Apple's September event, the company could revive Steve Jobs' "one more thing" phrase. Yeah, he used to love that, to tease the company's upcoming mixed reality headset. Rumors currently expected to be unveiled as soon as late this year and start being sold in 2023. I don't think I'm interested. We'll see. The Apple September event could could be the perfect timing for Apple to disclose to the public that it's entering a new market. For example, early this year, the company teased it's working on a new Mac Pro without further details. That's true. New Macs and iPads could be coming a bit later. Apple is also expected to introduce several new Macs and at least 2 iPads in 2022. I guess not at this event. While the company unveiled a new MacBook Pro in October, Apple could be readying another keynote for a month later to bring new Macs and iPads. That would make sense. In today's newsletter, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said Apple has new Mac Minis and high-end MacBook Pros for later this year. I don't think I can afford the high-end new MacBook Pro, so I wish I could. 9 to 5 Mac sources have already confirmed that Apple is working on the 10th generation base model iPad and the new iPad Pro. And I'm pretty happy with my 2020 iPad Pro. When will Apple hold its September event? Apple usually holds its events on a Tuesday. That's true. If the company follows the past year's trend, the keynote could take place on September 13th, as it's the second Tuesday of the month, and that would be such normal, perfect timing for Apple. Although nothing is confirmed and there are no rumors regarding the possible date, it's common sense that this could be the perfect time for the company to introduce the iPhone 14, Apple Watch Series 8, and more. Since WWDC 2022 had a hybrid experience, maybe Apple is finally readying the first in-person event of the year for the iPhone 14 release. I don't think so, because now with this monkeypox stuff, I'm expecting they're still going to do online, but we'll see. What are your hopes for the Apple September event? Blah, blah, blah. So I think a bunch of us are excited for the new event, but I'll be surprised if they do it in person. I just doubt it. So any of you excited about it, just let us know in the comments. So now I'm going to stick with Apple, and we're going to talk about the 14 Pro itself. And I'm watching to see if Will or Ted come in, but nothing yet so far. Okay, share again. This was on Tom's guide. And I just put this in there because people love the colors, and this one had to do with a brand new color. So let's click on that. iPhone 14 leaker just tipped a ton of details, colors, always on display, and more. This is strictly for the iPhone 14, of course. By Jordan Palmer. This was published 2 days ago. Get ready for a new purple iPhone and lots of other tidbits. And yeah, I'll get excited about a purple iPhone too, until I think to myself, but you put a case on everything, so what's the difference? Of course, I could get a clear case. So we'll see, but I'm almost certainly going to get this phone. Let's go into review. Okay, we're likely just over a month away from the iPhone 14 launch, so it should come as no surprise that rumors and leaks have started to heat up. We have a new batch that more confirms things we've heard already, just from a different source. Leaker, let's see if I can say this right. Giori Ku, I think that's right, Giori Ku, I think, on Twitter, laid out a large swath of iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro details. Perhaps the most interesting to a lot of people, Giori Ku gave us the colors we can expect this year. We hope you like purple. I love purple myself. But back when I was in the 70s, when I was playing in a lot of rock bands, and I played in New York and New Jersey a lot, my favorite shirt was a purple shirt with a lot of fringes that I bought at the same store where the Chambers brothers used to buy their stuff. So I like purple a lot. Oh, Mike Gonzo is in here. Hey, Mike. It says they finally caught up to Android. Well, that's true in some ways. Okay, so colors for the regular iPhone 14. That's the 2 lower end models. Green, purple, blue, black, white, and red. and iPhone 14 Pro colors: purple, green, silver, and graphite. If I can get the purple, I'm almost certainly going to get the purple, but we'll see. As speculated, Jioriku confirms from their sources that purple is the iPhone 14 Pro's fun color that breaks away from the standard silver and black. Although it's the iPhone 11 Pro's forest green coming back, yeah, that was a very cool looking phone. Last year, the iPhone 13 Pros was Sierra Blue. Jioriku also says purple is replacing pink for the iPhone 14. Jioriku's large thread continues. Apparently, the A16 Bionic is built on the same 5-nanometer process as the A15 Bionic. The leaker says that they think software and better chassis cooling will have some part to play in the performance increase that they saw. So obviously, he already has hands on this thing. Always on display and design, but there's more. Jioriku claims that the iPhone 14 Pro's always on display will mirror your lock screen setup. That means it'll have the same widgets and complications, and the leak says that always on display will operate kind of like Apple Watch's nightstand mode, which I'd like that. The iPhone 14 will allegedly keep the same body materials and storage options. Apple supposedly tried out titanium on the iPhone 14 Pro, but found it too difficult to work with. Jioriku confirms other reports that Apple has gone with a different supplier for camera lenses. Well, yeah, because the other supplier was coming up with cracked lenses. But the leaker is unsure which company Apple has chosen. They probably have a whole bunch already, I would think. They also say that BOE's production for the non-Pro iPhone 14 models is already in full swing. Yeah, but BOE was the one that was having problems with cracking phones. I think it was on the Pro model, so they switched to the other company. Furthermore, Jioriku says that the iPhone 14 Pro's dual hole punch displays look weird as expected, but are very much a thing. Gorilla Glass Victus will apparently protect them. See if we can see that. Now let's go back out of reader view for a second. Okay. So there's that. Okay. Someone refresh what it looked like, in my mind at least. Okay. iPhone 14 charging and MagSafe. Charging will also see an upgrade, according to the leaker, jumping to 30 watts. However, they note that the iPhone 14 might lower to 25 to 27 watts, depending on heat. There also might be reverse wireless charging, but that would be cool. But Jioriku doesn't expect it to come at launch. Okay. The MagSafe magnets will reportedly be slightly stronger this year, and Jioriku said that the MagSafe battery pack will get bigger and heavier this time around. Well, I have my MagSafe battery, and I do find it very convenient to come home on the days that I use the iPhone 12 Pro, which I did today. And the first thing I do when I get home is throw it on that MagSafe charger. So it is very convenient to me. Prices. Finally, Jioriku concludes their thread with some pricing info, corroborating some of what we've heard. The iPhone 14 will supposedly start at $799 and the Max at $999. So there's a $200 swing just on the non-pros. The 14 Pro at $1,100 and the 14 Pro Max at $1,200. That's the one I'm going for. There's a $100 increase on the Pro models, just like previous reports as mentioned. We were all expecting that. But it's interesting that you might pay a $200 premium between the non-Pro iPhone 14 versus $100 between the Pros. And that is true. There's a $200 difference there in the non-Pros. Jioriku's thread is a long one, so we encourage you to go read it for yourself. We expect to hear all about the iPhone 14 at launch in mid-September, if Apple keeps to its patterns. Until then, check out our iPhone 14 and 14 Pro hubs for all latest info. So, kind of excited about that. I think probably a lot of people, and since I skipped the iPhone 13 entirely, of course, I'm a little more excited about it. So I think that makes sense for me. So nothing new in the comments. Okay. Sure, Renz will let us know when he's at work. Let me take a little swig. Yes, you can see through the glass because it looks like it's green. So you're seeing through me and the chair. Okay. Now we go to the downside of the Apple stories. And like I said, I think Silicon Valley just has more of a problem with harassment than most of the other industries do. Seems like it's a big problem out there to me. So I just said, well, I already told you about my headline. So this one was on CNET. So let's go over to CNET and check it out. Apple promises change to training and processors after series of HR complaints. Personally, I take what they're saying with a grain of salt, Apple, that is, because all these companies always say the same thing when they get caught, especially with harassment. That's just my opinion. The story is by Ian Shear. So I'm going to review. Apple said in this story just came out yesterday. Apple said in a statement published Thursday that it didn't correctly handle a series of harassment and misconduct claims brought by more than a dozen current and former employees, and it promised it would change how the company works. Good thinking. There are some accounts raised that do not reflect our intentions or our policies, and we should have handled them differently. You think? Apple said in a statement to the Financial Times. The statement came in response to a story by the Financial Times highlighting some of the harassment claims and the company's poor response. Some of the women behind the claims said that Apple's HR teams didn't investigate accusations thoroughly enough and appeared, and now get this, to seek pretexts under which to fire or lay off people making claims. I think they all do that. The Financial Times described the women as alleging that Apple had demonstrated apathy in the face of misconduct claims. And I think they do the same thing at Google. I think they do the same thing at all of them. Just my opinion. Apple's statement didn't refer to specific cases from the Financial Times story, though it did acknowledge that it had fallen short in some of the exchanges the story highlighted. As a result, the company said, we will make changes to our training and processes. You need to fire the guys who are harassing women. Just my opinion. Apple didn't immediately respond to a request for additional details about those planned changes. So they're telling you they're going to make changes, but they're not telling you what those changes are going to be at all, which makes me very suspicious, and I tend not to believe them. The public admission by Apple is a rare moment when the typically secretive Silicon Valley giant has discussed internal staff issues. Over the past couple of years, dozens of employees have increasingly spoken out on social media, on whistleblower websites, and in news stories about what they say are problems with Apple's culture. It's not just an Apple problem either. Some of them have shared stories about the company allegedly mishandling egregious misconduct, including harassment and assault. That's bad. The company has previously said it takes these issues seriously, but it's declined to discuss specifics, citing employee confidentiality. So if you're saying you take these issues seriously, but you're hiding specifics, I don't believe you. That's just my opinion. One story highlighted by the Financial Times involved a male colleague taking advantage of a female employee after a platonic night out. It's like, don't guys understand the difference between platonic and non-platonic? I always did. In another, an employee said she was reprimanded for her reaction to a poor response from Apple HR after she'd filed a complaint. 8 of the 15 female Apple employees the Financial Times spoke with said they were retaliated against. So 8 out of 15, that's a slight majority. And 7 said they found HR to be disappointing or counterproductive. Though the number of complaints is small, considering Apple's population of more than 165,000 employees worldwide, it highlights how the company has struggled to follow through on its promises of promoting women and stamping out bad behavior. Yeah. In response, a growing group of hundreds of employees has begun pushing back under the banners of Apple Together and hashtag Apple Too. We have some very bad actors taking advantage to prey on vulnerable people, one anonymous employee wrote in a post on the hashtag Apple Too website. We need change. We need it now. I agree. It just struck me that more than 165,000 employees, when I was still programming and I was working in Orlando on a 2.5-year contract for AT&T, I took care of all the benefits in the country, and it was 165,000 employees that I took care of. So it's interesting. And believe me, that was an easy job as a programmer. All right, so let's stop screen. So hopefully Apple will actually do something. Hey, Brian, glad to have you here, brother. So just been going through some stories. Mike said he would not make it tonight. Haven't heard from Will or Ted, so I guess it's still an outside possibility. But so I've just been going through stories just to let you know what I've gone through. Had a Pocket Now story about the Pixel 6a having problems with its fingerprint scanner. Not that it wasn't recognized like we had with the Pixel 6. No, it was recognizing fingerprints that weren't even registered, which to me is an even worse problem. So we went through that story. Thank you, brother. You're always so faithful. Really appreciate it. We went through a story about the next month Apple event and what to expect. iPhone 14 Pro being the main thing. Went through a story about the iPhone 14 Pro because it just came out that there's going to be a purple iPhone 14 Pro. So looking forward to that. And then we just went over the Apple story, but some harassment issues that they're having, and hopefully that they'll do something about. So I've got a couple of more stories left. So, okay. And Renz is back. Okay. Work now. Traffic was kind of good and bad because of the rain. Yeah, I understand that. Just glad you got there safely, brother. And glad you're back with us. So, I'm going to go on to the next story. And you guys know I've been getting kind of excited about earbuds lately. So this one, of course, kind of excites me. So I just said Samsung quietly bringing new buds along with the foldables and watch, ? So this was on Android Authority. So if they had it on their website that they had buds, I totally missed it. So I'm kind of excited about it. So, new Galaxy Buds 2 Pro leak claims that it will have intelligent noise cancellation. Will these be your next wireless earbuds? Yeah, I could see myself getting these and the new AirPods, but we'll see. And this was by John Callahan. So let's go to review. Okay, that's what they look like. So like I said, some people are calling them the Buds 2 Pro and other people are calling them the Buds Pro 2. I would have called them the Buds Pro 2 because the originals, which I have right here, were called the Buds Pro. So, okay. There hasn't been much revealed about the upcoming Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro earbuds ahead of their expected reveal at Samsung Unpacked on August 10th, next Wednesday. Now, a new report gives us what looks like an official render for the devices, along with some hardware and spec features. This report comes from WinFuture Day. I don't know what day stands for. And the story's leaked render shows off the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro in their zenith gray color. Like I said, that's what they look like. There are also supposed to be available with a Bora Purple. I don't know what Bora Purple is, color option. The design of the new version looks to be just slightly different from the earlier Galaxy Buds Pro. Let's see how different they look. There's the Galaxy Buds Pro right there. Slide back up. Okay, yeah, a little different. Yeah. Like you said, slightly different. Okay. Some new Galaxy Buds 2 Pro features will include what Samsung reportedly calls intelligent active noise cancellation. Interesting to see what that'll be like. It's supposed to eliminate what the article says is even the loudest ambient noise. It will also feature ambient mode, which will allow the owner to listen to audio from the earbuds while also listening to a person next to them. Now, of course, if I do get them, I'm going to have to compare them against the Galaxy Buds Pro and the Galaxy Buds 2 and the Pixel Buds Pro. So it should be interesting. And by that, who knows? I may have the new AirPods. So we'll see what happens. The earbuds will reportedly have a 10-millimeter driver inside, along with several integrated microphones. The battery life for the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro is supposed to last up to 8 hours on a single charge, with up to 29 hours of use when combined with the earbuds charging case. That's cool. They will also have an IPX7 water resistance rating. That's good too. The article is quoting a price of $220. Well, it's going to translate to $229 for me for the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, which is in line with an early leak claiming that it pays at $229 here in the U.S. Keep in mind, Samsung has not confirmed any of this info, but we have less than a week to go to see if this leaked render and info is correct. So again, a little excited about that too. So I'm almost certainly going to get those. We'll see about the new AirPods. And I might be skipping some of these phones though, because if the new Z Flip 4 is that close to the Z Flip 3, and it sure sounds like it's going to be, then I think I'm probably just going to. I do love my Z Flip 3, but I have no problems with it, and I don't see why I should spend the money to get the 4s. But we'll see next Wednesday when it comes out. I did toy with the idea of the Fold 4. But, you know, when you get up into $1,700, $1,800, I'm probably not going there. That's my guess. So, no Will and no Ted as yet. I've got one more story left. And I just wanted to talk about Android 13, which we're all expecting, I guess, within the next month or so. So I'm going to share screen. I just said strong hint that Android 13 will arrive for all in September. This is from Android Authority. So let's go there, because I haven't done any of the betas on Android 13. So all signs point to Android 13 launch in September 2022. It's time to play the waiting game. And this came out on August 1st. And again, this is by John Callahan. So let's go to review. Okay. It's August 1st, 2022, and that usually means we will get the August 2022 security update for Google's Pixel phones. Those updates have not been released yet, but Google has gone ahead and released security notes for its next mobile OS upgrade, Android 13. So for that security release, they're saying Android 13, and that's a good sign. The security notes via 9to5 Google state that there have been a number of Android issues discovered and added. Yeah, I listened to a video from 9to5 Google today, and they were talking about how a lot of the stuff has been fixed in this latest update for the beta. Android 13 devices with a security patch level of 2022-91 or later are protected against these issues. Yeah, the guy said they pretty much settled all the issues. It's possible that could refer to the Android open source project, AOSP, launch of Android 13, which usually happens before the OS launch on Pixel phones. We do know that Android 13 is very close to its final version. Google released Android 13 beta for one last week. That was the video I listened to today. That was only a fix to a few outstanding bugs. And the guy went in from 9 to 5 Google. He went over in detail all the bugs that they fixed. It was actually one that Google had fixed once before, it broke again, and they fixed it again. So he's hoping it's fixed for good. Keep in mind that Android OS launch dates have varied wildly over the years, but I think this is good information. Android 12 launched in October 2021, but I think that was because of COVID. Android 10 and 11 both launched in September of 2019 and 2020, respectively, and Android Pie, Android 9, actually launched in August 2008. So it did go from August to October to in September, but it seems like the September is the standard. So hopefully we'll all be seeing that. And Jay Will is in here. Hey, John, glad to see you, brother. Yeah, John is saying he wants the Z Fold. Well, I knew you'd get the Z Fold because you've had all the folds as far as I remember. And Renz says Jay Will in the chat, and John says elbow cough. Okay, good manners, John. Very good. So yeah, I knew you'd get the Fold. I love my Z Flip 3. And all along, I thought I was going to get the Z Flip 4, but now I keep hearing it's going to be very close to the Flip 3. And I'm thinking, why should I spend the money, especially when I know I'm going to get the highest Apple phone? But we'll see. We'll find out next week. I am looking forward to those new buds, and we'll see what else I do. So, yeah, see, John says I love my Z Flip. Now, Mike had some problems, and he just scratched, I guess, his screen protector on his, and so he's very upset. I have had no problems at all with my Flip. I would pick it up, but it's on the other side of the room. But I've had zero problems with it. I take it to work with me all the time. It still flips open, no problem. I have no scratches on my screen whatsoever, and I don't use screen protection, but of course it has one built in. So very likely I'll just be keeping my Flip 3. So that is the last news story. None of the guys have come in yet. So we'll just go to glowing rectangles like we always do. And then that'll be that. So share screen. I always put this in here for any open discussion people want to talk about, like Jay Will and I are having right now. What's Brian saying? Easy be ripping the Fold 4. Yeah, but from what I've seen from these, I don't think he's hated his Fold 3. I probably missed some of the coverage, but we'll see how it goes. I know he'll be getting it too. You two guys, I know, will always get them. So, I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't totally change my mind and go for the Fold 4, but I doubt if I'll spend that kind of money. Okay, let's go to glowing rectangles. Brian has said, Jay, you know something that Easy's not aware of. Though he isn't. You know something he isn't aware of. Okay, maybe so. Okay, glowing rectangles. So every week I show this at the end. In case anybody doesn't know about it, if you go to, let me get my stuff out of my branding stuff out of the way. If you go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, you could put any post you want out there, any video you want out there. You can put it out there every day, and you get to vote on it. So I'll just click on top and see what got upvoted and downvoted today. So today, 5 votes for Google Pixel 6a Sage unboxing and first impressions. So that's got the most. Yesterday, I was one of the ones in the top 2 votes. I was surprised. And his Mike's car vlog from today, and that was a pretty nice vlog. It was kind of short. It was 7 minutes or something, but I'm glad he got. Let me upvote that. And I've never known anybody to downvote, so I don't even talk about it. And then one, Pixel 6a popularity and toxic review trends. Yeah, and that's the thing with the 6. Ever since it's Pixel 6a, some people are ranting about how terrible it is, and other people are saying it's great. I think Jay Will pretty much says it's great. So I don't. This is the most I've seen with any of the A series with this much venom going back and forth. I just don't understand it. Just. But it's been out there and it's been kind of surprising. So anyway, so if you want to post something, a blog or a video, or for yourself or somebody else's, you can always put it here. This was started by Juan Bagnell, and just so people get more exposure. So remember, it's reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, and you can post it there. And get a little more exposure for yourself or anybody else you want to get some exposure for. So just wanted to get that in there because I try to do that every week and never forget it. Ted wouldn't let me forget it if I did forget it. So that's the show for tonight, folks. Let's see, I've got 2 new comments. Okay, now Jay's saying he doesn't know something that Easy doesn't know. What's he saying? I don't think it's terrible. Those are simply just haters. He's talking about the 6A. Yeah, it's the I don't remember ever seeing the amount of hate for any of the A series. And I had the 3A, the 4A, and the 5A, which I still have the 5A. It's just surprising me. It all kind of surprised me. I knew I wasn't going to get it because I already had the 6 Pro, which I have right here. So it's just very surprising. It's like almost like an Apple versus Android thing. It's been that much hatred going back and forth, and it just kind of shocked me. But of course, I'm used to it now because we've been hearing it for 2 weeks. So just very interesting. So that's it for tonight, folks. I guess I knew Mike wouldn't be here, but Will and Ted didn't have time. So I'm glad you all came in. Brian, thank you as always. Always glad to have our regulars here. Renz, Annette, Eleanor, Brian, Jay, anytime you get here, I'm very happy about that and glad to have you here. So next week, we'll be back with Friday Night Tech Talk. Please share and put a like on the video. And anybody who's not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you'll get notified when I upload. So I hope everybody has a very, very blessed weekend, and we will see you next week.